there, first graders from Water School 24. How's everyone doing? I'm still inside today. Turns out there's a lot of carpenter bees out right now, so I made a trap for them out on the front porch. Gonna see how many I can catch. If I have some, I'll show them to you, all right? So, we've got a quick lesson for you today. Remember, this video always goes over what's in the remote learning packet, and we take out what we can to make it easier on everyone. We're here at June 1st, Monday, June 1st. We have 13 days left until the last day of school, which is June 17th. Can you believe it? I feel like it was just yesterday. It was March 13th when we were all sitting in that classroom for the last time. All right, whatever. We got work to do. Your video is here. I cover it all with you. And remember, we have a Zoom at noon this Thursday, June 4th. I'd be happy to see you all there. I invited just about every teacher that you have. I invited our gym teachers. I invited Miss Cordova. I invited Miss Levis. I invited Miss Weiss. Miss Wild, of course, will definitely be there. And I invited Miss Marquez. And Miss Tobin will definitely be there. And we'll see whoever else we could get on and try to make it a good fun time. All right, guys, enjoy the video. The ELA Daily Rundown, Monday, June 1st, 2020. Today in reading, we're going to watch the read aloud of Henry and Mudge and Mrs. Hopper's House. Then I'm going to ask you to answer this comprehension question. What treasures can we share with neighbors? This is your reading portfolio assignment today in Dojo. Next, you were supposed to discuss the meaning of the words discover, resident, admire, and substantial, but I have eliminated that from today's lesson in the interest of time and sanity. Moving on to writing. The Daily Fix-It 1 through 5 has been removed. Do not worry about that today. But I do want to worry about writing directions, page 492 and 496 if you have the remote learning packet. If you don't, that's okay. It'll be on screen in front of you and explained by me. That will be your writing portfolio assessment today. It can be done on a separate piece of paper. Foundational skills. No spelling menu, complete 2 boxes today. We are not going to brainstorm a list of words that have an ly or ful ending. We are going to work on suffix practice of the words ending in ly and ending in ful. We are going to practice reading these words. And that's it for today. Let's get started. Henry and Mudge and Mrs. Hopper's House by Cynthia Rylant. Sure. Illustrated by Carolyn Bracken in the style of Susie Stevenson. The genre for today's story is realistic fiction. Realistic fiction has settings that seem real, but the stories are made up. Next, you will find out what happens when Henry and Mudge visit a neighbor. Let's begin. A sweetheart dance. Valentine's Day was coming. Henry and his big dog Mudge loved Valentine's Day because of the candy. They liked the candy hearts that said, "You're swell," and "Oh dear," and things like that. Henry read the words and Mudge licked them off. They were a good team. On this Valentine's Day, Henry's father and Henry's mother were going to a sweetheart dance. Henry and Mudge would be staying with Mrs. Hopper. Mrs. Hopper lived across the street in a big stone house with droopy trees and dark windows and a gargoyle on the door. Henry liked Mrs. Hopper, but he did not like her house. "Are you sure Mudge and I can't come to the sweetheart dance?" Henry asked his father. "Only if you both promise to wear a tuxedo and shiny black shoes and waltz to the Blue Danube," said Henry's father. Henry looked at Mudge and tried to imagine him in a tuxedo and shiny black shoes waltzing to the Blue Danube. I think we'd better go to Mrs. Hopper's, Henry said. Good idea, said Henry's father, because Mudge only knows how to tap dance, Henry said with a grin. Costumes. Mrs. Hopper wasn't like anyone Henry had ever met. She played the violin for him. She served him tea. She told him about her father, who had been a famous actor. She was very kind to Mudge. She cooked him a bowl of oatmeal and gave him his own loaf of French bread. After the tea and music and oatmeal, Mrs. Hopper took them upstairs. She opened the room that had been her father's. Wow, said Henry. The room was full of costumes. There were silk capes and tall hats, shiny coats. There were canes and swords and umbrellas. There were wigs. Mrs. Hopper put a wig on Mudge. You look like a poodle, Mudge, said Henry. Mudge wagged and wagged. Henry and Mudge and Mrs. Hopper spent most of the evening in the costume room. They had a wonderful time. When Henry's parents came back from the dance, were they ever surprised? Mudge was a poodle, and Henry was a man. Henry wore a tuxedo and a hat and shiny black shoes. I bet you didn't know I was this handsome, Henry told his dad, and everyone laughed and laughed. All right, hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget, your comprehension question comes up next. Now we're going to do some practice on writing directions. So you've wrote a thank you note, you've written an invitation. Now we're going to try to do some direction right. So you're going to tell someone how to do something. I know, it sounds like so much fun. So here on the page we have writing directions. Remember, this is page 492 in your remote learning packet if you have it. If not, don't worry. We're going to do this on the screen, and then the final assignment here with this lesson can be done on any type of paper. Writing directions, how to make a drum. Here's an example for you, how to make a drum. First, that's step one. First, get a coffee can with a plastic lid. So whenever you're writing directions on how to do something, you got to think of every single thing you do to get it completed, and then tell those things in order. Next, color a piece of paper. All right, that sounds easy for step two. Wrap it around a coffee can. I could do that. Step three. Then give it to your friend. Step four seems simple. See who can drum the loudest. All right, I can definitely do that. What do you think? Can you write directions for something? Let's keep going. Key features of directions. Directions give details about how to do something. So, maybe it's not making a drum from scratch. Maybe it's something as simple as how to brush your teeth. Earlier this school year, we actually had a writing lesson about how to brush your teeth. We talked about what would you do first when you go to brush your teeth. You go in the bathroom, what do you usually do first? I'm just going to speak generally here. You probably get your toothbrush, right? What do you do after you get your toothbrush? Well, some of you may rinse it off in the sink first. Someone may get the toothpaste and put it on the brush next. Next step. Then I hold my toothbrush under the faucet. Next, I scrub my teeth. Finally, I rinse off the brush and rinse out my mouth. Clean teeth. Of course, you could write directions for just about anything. How to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. How to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. How to walk to your grandmother's house. How to walk to the store. Directions on how to get there. See, before all these fancy GPSs, Mom and Dad will understand this. Before we had all those fun things, if you were going somewhere and you didn't know how to get there, you couldn't take out a phone and put the address in the phone. You had to call up the place you were going to and ask them, how do I get to your establishment? Yes, you actually had to call on the phone and say, for instance, I was going to Great Adventure for the first time, I would call up Great Adventure and I say, oh, I'm coming down on the turnpike. How do I get to your establishment? And they'll probably tell you, well, if you're coming down south on a turnpike, first you're going to take exit 7A. Then you will take 195 east. From 195 east, you will see the signs for Great Adventure. Take the first exit for Great Adventure that you see, bear to the right, follow signs into the park. Directions. Fun. Alright, I scroll down. What I want from you now is to give me directions on how to do something that you like to do. Whether it's play basketball, football, maybe it's play checkers or chess. There's a game you like to play. You can tell me how to play it. There's a food you like to make. Tell me how to make it. Some place to go. Maybe tell me the directions from your house to school. All you got to do is, like it says, give me one sentence that tells me the first thing to do. Give me another sentence that tells me the next thing to do. And then give me one more sentence to tell me the last thing to do. So you should have 3 sentences or more. You can have more if you want. But at least 3 sentences of directions. First thing to do, next thing to do, last thing to do. Remember, go back to our example prior to this before, or think about some of the examples I talked about here. I know you can do this. Remember, this is your writing portfolio assignment today in Dojo. It's time for suffixes. Suffixes are just the way we end a word. Let's take a look exactly what that means. When you add ly or ful to the word, we're going to write the new word on the line. Okay, for instance, here's your example. The word nice plus the ending ly equals the word nicely. The dog is play. That's not the way to describe a dog. Can't describe a dog with just a verb. But if we add the letters ful to the end of play, then we are describing the dog as playful. See how we did that? Number 2, the dog walked slow. We would actually say the dog walked slowly, adding an ly to the end of slow. Number 3, then it ran quick. Nope, the proper way to say that would be to add the suffix ly and write quick plus ly equals quickly. Number 4, the dog got home safe. Nope, the proper way to say is the dog got home safely. S-A-F-E-L-Y, safely. Number 5, Miss Moon was thankfully? No, not thankfully. Thankful. Thank plus full equals thankful. Alright, that's just the first step of suffixes. ly, ful. I'm sure we'll have more practice down the line, but it was a good start today. We just did that together on screen here. Do not worry about writing anything down.